Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show, presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag, and it's wonderful to have you along for the ride. Oh, my goodness gracious. We got Eagles, Steelers. One of the things I absolutely loved was watching Saquon Barkley address the media yesterday, and hey, they were like, hey, this is kind of like the Tomlin described it as the Pennsylvania Bowl, like the state championship. You're a PA guy there, Saquon. What do you think about that? I think it was Zach Berman that asked the question. And he was just like, Saquon, I'm almost proud because he the way he answered the question was like, oh, yeah, Pittsburgh's in Pennsylvania. Who knew? It was like, you're a PA guy. Does this mean anything extra to you? He's like, what? It's oh, yeah, there's another side to the Appalachian Mountains. What? Pittsburgh's part of it. I'm actually, my buddy, an Eagles fan, lives out in Pittsburgh. He was sentenced there to live in marriage. And just kidding. Love you, Steph. They live out there. She's from there. And he's coming over with a buddy who's a Steelers fan. Womp, womp. And they're coming in for the game. So I'm actually going to get to see a friend out of this. Kid I grew up with. This is great. Anyway, so look forward to that. But I feel good about this game. I shouldn't feel good about this game, but I feel good about this game. Now, why should I not feel good about this game? Because this week was a week of feeling bad. Just look at the game they played. They won the game. But even A.J. Brown said it. Yeah, I'm crediting A.J. Brown with this. They played the Panthers. Was it supposed to be a 22-16 point victory? No. They were favored by 2 touchdowns to win that game. And I thought they'd win by 2 touchdowns. They didn't. They almost lost the game. It was, being that they were ahead for so long, and I know there was that Xavier Legette drop right in front of the end zone there that would have put him in front. Eagles still had 3 timeouts. Eagles still had 52 seconds left on the clock. So for me, yeah, you still didn't lose, but it does border on what I classify as a moral loss in that you won, but you don't feel great about it. You know, it was a little too close. You know, you squeaked out. And I think A.J. Brown has the same qualification for that win. So you don't feel great about it. Just from a wins and losses standpoint, just from a football standpoint, forget about the drama that later followed. You don't feel good about the way they played against the Panthers. Then we go through the entire week of the Real Housewives of the, Eagles country, I guess we could say that. Eagles County? I don't know. Where it was just drama, leading to even Jordan Mailata being like, dude, yes, it's frustrating, but it's not the AJ and Jalen show. So we're going to go out there. We're going to play some football. Steelers versus Eagles, not AJ versus Jalen. So absolutely love to hear that from a guy who's a team leader in Jordan Mailata. Then you have the comments made by Saquon Barkley yesterday that had nothing to do with the Pennsylvania State Championship. Excuse me, but more so had to do with his performance and what we can expect from him against the Pittsburgh Steelers. So we're going to get into that today. We're going to get into what Saquon was able to do against another top-rated run defense, the Ravens, for instance. We're going to get into Russell Wilson against the Eagles. We're going to get into Jalen Hurts and what he's got going on in this game, what he's got on the line in this game. We're also going to get, in general, not just the run defense, but the defense in its entirety when you talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers. And why, for some reason, after this week of drama and not feeling good about the Eagles' most recent win, their 9th in a row, why I feel good about the Eagles coming away with this victory. Also, hey, not for nothing, I know it's a football Friday, people. I get it. But how about Scotty Lawton last night? Huh? How about Scotty Lawton? 4 goals? Okay, 2 of them were empty net. 4 goals, though. Not bad. Nice little tip in on a pass there from, who was it? The TK, Travis Konechny. And then the other one, a little slap shot. The first one he scored was a slap shot. So Flyers get a nice win. Scott Lawton gets all 4 goals in that one, so you love to see that. But yeah, I'm very excited for this weekend. And just on one more note, I posted something on social media about my uncle who passed, and you guys are awesome, just fantastic. People that know me in my personal life, people that listen to the show, watch the show, and all that commented, do appreciate it. It's not lost on me the the words from everybody. So I do appreciate that. Let's get into it when we talk about our Philadelphia Eagles, 11-2, taking on the 10-3 Pittsburgh Steelers. And yes, I always do enjoy this game because I don't buy into much. Like, I hate when people say Battle of the Birds. It's a Battle of the Birds. I don't care about the mascots. That's just fun to say because alliteration is awesome, and I am a sucker for it. However, Battle of the Birds, it's lost on me. But when you talk about, a state championship, like Mike Tomlin referenced earlier in the week, when you talk about the Eagles taking on the Steelers, I don't know what it is, but I love it. I think it might be the fact that traveling around the country for as long as I did, so many people assuming. Now, this is me saying I'm from the Philadelphia area. Yeah, that's right, Philadelphians. I never say I'm from Philadelphia because I know in Philadelphia, that's a no-no. I always, when I travel, I say I'm from the Philadelphia area. I always throw in area just in case someone from Philly is around me, and they tend to pop up out of nowhere, and all of a sudden they're just like, what? You're from Philadelphia? Where are you from? And then I got to go, just outside Philadelphia. Oh, you're not from Philly. Never mind. And then they leave you alone. But, I'm not like that. So I always say Philadelphia area. Philadelphia people are like ninjas. They just pop up anywhere. You don't even know they're there. So I always say Philadelphia area. And they're like, oh, Philadelphia area. Oh, you Steelers fan? That has not happened to me once. That's not happened to me twice. That's happened to me at least a dozen times. And I'm like, do you know what a map is? Do you follow the? No? Okay. So I just like the idea of the Eagles having an opportunity to beat the brakes off the Steelers to announce their presence in Philadelphia with authority for those people that are morons. Yeah, that's right. So there is a little something extra on this one. And I do feel one of the things I look back on in my own career that I go, oh, if that just would have, is the first Super Bowl I ever worked was Cardinals Steelers. And yes, it was after the Cardinals beat the Eagles in the NFC Championship game. Yeah, and Kevin Curtis's legs were tackled, and nobody called pass interference. Anyway, that was, it would have been an all-Pennsylvania Super Bowl, and it would have been fantastic. But unfortunately, it was the Steelers, Santonio Holmes, corner of the end zone, touchdown. They beat the Cardinals. Wah, wah. But anyway, little something in this. Here's what I find interesting. The Steelers have lost 10 straight games in Philadelphia, haven't won in Philadelphia since 1965. Yikes. Let's keep that going. The other thing that I find interesting is that you combine that with Russell Wilson's numbers, which we'll get to in a minute, and it's like something's got to give. Overall, here's what the Philadelphia Eagles are facing. They're facing a defense that is plus 17 in the turnover battle, all right? Plus 17. They're first in turnover differential. Eagles are ninth in turnover differential. Plus 17 for the Steelers, plus 4 for the Eagles. Excuse me. When it comes to their run defense, they're the fourth best run defense in the NFL, allowing 91 yards per game on the ground. Now, if you remember, Saquon Barkley went up against the Ravens, and he had his way with them. The Eagles, by the way, when you talk about defensive pass yards allowed per game, Russell Wilson's got to go against the second best one in the NFL. And Najee Harris has to go against the eighth best rushing defense in the NFL. Not too shabby. Also, the Eagles allowed the second fewest points per game as a defense. The Steelers allowed the fifth fewest points per game as a defense. They are separated by 0.3 of a point. That's right. 18 points per game for the Eagles, 18.3 points per game allowed by the Steelers. It's just that close. Eagles score about 2 more points per game than them, offensively speaking. Steelers are 5-2 on the road. Eagles are 5-1 at home. So that's the overall look at the Eagles and the Steelers. Now, when I talk about my 5 things every single week, when it comes to the Eagles and it comes to their opponent and all that stuff, very rarely will I focus on anything other than X's and O's, something tangible, something you could really point to and go, oh, look, that's the problem, and the Eagles have to be concerned with it, or this is something the Eagles do great, and the other team is going to have a problem dealing with that. But this is the first time all year that I'm actually talking about a distraction. I didn't use it as one of my 5 things, but when Nick Sirianni, after the Browns win, was yelling at fans and just having that trash talk, I brought it up as a positive. It wasn't part of my 5 things in the game, to look forward to. But I brought it up as a positive. I said, this is probably going to be the flower power moment of the season. This is going to be like, excuse me, just like 2021 when the Eagles were god-awful and Nick Sirianni comes out there with the flower power speech and all that stuff, whatever that is, the flower power speech, and everyone was rallying around him in the Eagles locker room when everybody outside that locker room was raining harsh criticism on Nick Sirianni. I said, this might be the flower power moment. And what was it? The Eagles haven't lost. The Eagles haven't lost. No, since the bye week, they haven't lost. And they haven't lost since they beat the Browns that day when they escaped with a victory. And my man Seth Joyner described it as baby steps. Baby steps. So, absolutely, I look at this game, and I think about the off-the-field distraction. I'm not overly concerned. I'm not, what do you call it? Sweating bullets over it or anything like that. I am a little concerned. It's the first negative player-generated controversy. It's the first player-generated concern for off-the-field stuff this season. Last year, and I'm not even pointing out the way last year ended because we all know that story. But if you remember, I want to say it was after week 3 or 4, A.J. Brown was seen on the sidelines during the game upset about something. This is last year. And Nick Sirianni walked over to him and Jalen Hurts and squashed whatever they were talking about, squashed it quickly. And then A.J. Brown didn't address the media right after the game. And then A.J. Brown at his locker that week said that was not about targets. Everyone said I was upset about targets. I wasn't upset about targets. That wasn't about targets. And then I thought for a second, I was like, well, hold on a second. Well, maybe it wasn't about targets. I didn't believe him at first. And then I thought, well, what if that was just about the passing game in general? Just like he would say a year later, like he said in his locker room earlier this week. Or at his locker earlier this week. Yeah, it wasn't about just Jalen. It was about the passing game in general. It wasn't about just getting me the football. It was about getting everybody the football. That type of thing. So my only concern here is not that the locker room is going to unravel. This is more a concern about how this can affect what's actually going on the football field. Not to get into let's just forget about the he said BS for a second here. What are the Eagles going to do to correct? Because let's face it. Should the Eagles with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, and this offensive line, and a quarterback who's been in the MVP running many times over in his career, a quarterback that's already taken his team to a Super Bowl, a quarterback that has the highest efficiency rating ever of a quarterback in the Super Bowl, should an Eagles offense, should any offense with those kind of accolades, should their passing game be last in the NFL? Should it be the least tapped into, even factoring in how great Saquon Barkley is this year? Should it even be in the bottom 15? No, it shouldn't be. So, even when you take away all the drama and distraction, whatever, how are the Eagles going to respond to something that has been very public for 6 days, 7 days even? You've heard Kellen Moore talking about trying to get the ball to A.J. Brown more. You've heard Jalen Hurts talking about spreading the football around, and AJ wants his, and Devontae wants his, and everybody wants theirs, right? This has never been a problem. We're talking about the last 3 years where you've had 2 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard rusher. Everybody has gotten theirs. Everybody has. This hasn't been a problem. Before the season, when we're talking about, there's only one football to go around, we're like, yeah, but they've kind of been through it before. They've had plenty of football to go around. 1,000-yard receivers and a 1,000-yard rusher. Oh, by the way, and touchdowns galore for their quarterback, thanks to the Atusha push. This hasn't been a problem until this week, which is also fascinating. But should your passing game be as tapped into as few times as it has, fewer than anybody else in the NFL? Absolutely not. So what are the Eagles going to do to correct it? I am concerned that the, whatever you want to call it, drama throughout the week will affect what the game plan is. Let's make sure we get it to A.J. Brown. Let's make sure. So what is that going to lead to? Is that going to lead to a revert back to turnovers? Because, again, this is not the team to put the precious pigskin in peril against, and I'll get into that even further. But, yeah, just to reference it again, plus 17 in the turnover differential. The Pittsburgh Steelers, best in the NFL. You don't want to be forcing throws to A.J. Brown because he'll be mad at me if I don't throw it to him. Or you can't be Kellen Moore and be like, make sure this one goes to A.J. You can't do that. So that's the only reason I have paid any attention to all the BS that has gone on throughout the week. Am I overly concerned that it's going to happen? No, but I'm aware it could. And also look at it like this. If you don't think a temper tantrum can affect what the Eagles do, let's go back to this game against the Panthers. And what happened at the 2:55 mark of the second quarter? They glanced over to A.J. Brown, who did not have a target. He was talking to Devontae Smith, who already had a target. And they were sitting around Jahan Dotson, who already had 2 targets. And I'm sure they weren't far from Grant Calcaterra, who also already had 2 targets. And A.J. Brown was sitting there with 0 targets. And the first throw that the first throw that Jalen Hurts had after the cameras caught Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown airing grievances, whatever it was on the sideline, the first throw from Jalen Hurts, guess who it was to? A.J. Brown. And who was the first person to talk after the game? A.J. Brown. So that's the only reason I look at this and factor it into my top 5 things about this game, where I hope the Eagles don't overcorrect. Because also, let's talk about it. The Eagles' run game is phenomenal. It's just so damn good. We know it is. You have a running back ready to run for more yards than anybody ever in the history of the NFL. All right. The Eagles have won 9 in a row being a run-first football team. It's pretty spectacular. So I don't want them to ignore that. I don't want them to overcorrect. And I certainly don't want to put their quarterback in a situation where he feels like he has to force throws against a defense that'll take the ball away in the blink of an eye. So number 5 on my top 5 things, bottom of the list, I'm going with the distraction. And what it could mean for the football field. Number 4, I am going with Mr. Wilson. Oh, Mr. Wilson himself, Russell Wilson. Never lost to the Eagles, 6-0, including the playoffs, 5-0 in the regular season, 1-0 in the playoffs. And how about this? Well, let's get him in Philly. 4-0 in Philadelphia. So let's factor these things in together, okay? The Philadelphia Eagles haven't lost to the Steelers in Philadelphia since 1965. All right? Haven't lost to the Steelers since 1960. 10 straight wins against the Steelers in Philly. Now Russell Wilson is their starting quarterback. He is 6-0, including the playoffs. 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. All right, so, maybe the Eagles get to him. Maybe they bring him down a whole bunch of times, and they'll slow down Russell Wilson. That'll be a great thing. All right, yeah? Well, in those 6 games, he's been sacked 14 times. So the Eagles have gotten to Russell Wilson, and he still wins. Ain't that something? 36 years old, still getting it done. Now, this is going to be a little bit tougher for him, being that no George Pickens in this game, most likely. Probably be officially ruled out today. Pickens has 35 receptions this season. This is what they're going to be missing, other than their leading wide receiver by about double what any other wide receiver has this season for the Steelers. 850, I believe, is his number in yards. 850 yards this season. The next guy, I think, has 368, maybe, with Austin. We'll get to that in a second. Pickens, 35 receptions this year have gone for first downs. The next wide receiver, okay, just in the wide receivers, Pat Freiermuth has, I think 23, but he's not a wide receiver, obviously. Pickens, 35 receptions for first downs. 35. The next wide receiver has 13. 35 to 13. Yeah, okay. Go find that guy there, Russell Wilson. I mentioned Calvin Austin III. 5'9". Yes, he's a bit of a speedster. Yes, he can get lost in the football field, but he'll be even more involved. He's their second leading receiver. He averages 16.8 yards per reception. A.J. Brown's around 17.5, so you see that number's kind of close. Also, heavily reliant on Pat Freiermuth, as one would expect. He leads the team with 5 touchdown receptions. So Russell Wilson, these are your weapons when it comes to the passing game. So, hey, Jalen Carter, come get some. Hey, Zach Bond, come get some. Nakobe Dean, come get some. It's good to see also Reed Blankenship up and running for the Eagles in the secondary. So at least they won't be as concerned with the depth at the safety position. So Russell Wilson is the next guy I look at. Number 3 is a member of your Philadelphia Eagles. Just Saquon Barkley. Continue to do your thing, Ben. Continue to do your thing. He's facing the 4th best run defense in the NFL. 4th best, as I mentioned earlier. 4th best run defense, averaging 91 yards per game is what they surrender. That's it. That's pretty damn good. Well, let's not forget He put up 107 yards, averaging about 4.7 yards per carry against the Ravens, who at the time were the third best run defense against running backs in the NFL, not including quarterback scrambles. He's also going for his fifth straight 100-yard game and 10th on the season. And we all know he has put Shady McCoy's franchise record in the rearview mirror of 1607, and now he's going over 20. Now he's going after 2107 for Eric Dickerson. Keep the good times coming, Saquon Barkley. Here's one of the things that I found really interesting. Saquon Barkley was at his locker yesterday, and he was talking about the challenge of playing against one of the best run defenses in the NFL. And he took it upon himself to throw a bone to the passing game.
I love it. I love it. It's a challenge. It's a challenge not only for me, but for the guys up front. We feel like we're one of, if not the best run groups in the NFL, and we know that when we play against teams, that's the goal is to stop that. You gotta make them stop it. We're gonna keep going. And if they can't, then they can't. And if they happen to do, we are more than capable of being able to throw the ball and win football games. And whether we have 10 passing yards and 10 rushing yards, 5 picks, 3 fumbles, and we win the game 3-0, because especially in play great and the defense play great, at the end of the day, we won the football game.
I really got to tell you, I love Saquon Barkley's temperament. I absolutely love it. This is a guy that last week was like, hey, I know people are knocking the passing game, but Jalen has played in the Super Bowl, right? Jalen's been in like the MVP conversation, right? Like runner up to Patrick freaking Mahomes. Okay, I added that part of it, but he's like, this team has been good before I got here. And all of a sudden, everybody sucks, but I'm great. Like, that's been his temperament throughout this. And he's just acting like everybody's crazy. I look, nothing tops what he does on the field, but the attitude this guy has is perfect. It's not over the top. He doesn't feel the need to call anybody on the carpet. He did look at the media, what was it, the other day? He's like, I don't want to blame you guys and make it seem like I'm attacking you guys. But because it was Brandon Graham's comments that set off everybody. So that wasn't media generated. That was all BG. And it's not media generated when a wide receiver just gives a one-word response to what people need to work on. And then all of a sudden, it's such a leap to go, he's talking about Jalen Hurts. He's talking about Jalen Hurts. So I don't look at this week being any type of like media-driven thing. This is a team-driven thing. But the thing that I love about it is also with the team, you have the people that are tired of it. And I'm a big fan of those people. Jordan Mailata, who I referenced to start the show, and Saquon Barkley. One more thing that he said about it, it was the run to pass thing. And I absolutely love this. Saquon, when he was at his locker again with that speech, when he was talking about taking on the Ravens, I think it was Martin Frank at Delco Times that asked him the question. So run to pass ratio, you guys need to balance this out, not forget about the pass, right? Is that what you guys were talking about?
No one talked about it besides the media, so it's not a problem for us. Like, obviously, like, we have to answer the questions, but like when we sit here, like you said, Smitty, AJ, Jahan, all those guys have been super supportive, and we sit here and say what the standard is and what we want to accomplish, and that's winning football games. So we're not sitting at lunch table talking about, we need to throw the ball more. To be honest, you guys and the media are the one who's kind of created that narrative. So our focus is winning football games, and we're 11-2 right now. We got 9 wins in a row. We know there's a lot we can continue to improve on because of things we want to accomplish, and we got to keep on doing that.
There's one easier way to sum it all up when you talk about Saquon Barkley and his reaction to people saying you need to throw the ball more, run to pass ratio, whatever. There's only one reaction that can sum it up faster. Hey, Saquon, run to pass ratio. Ugh. Yeah, that's right. So Saquon Barkley doing his thing, keeping it going against the Pittsburgh Steelers, number 3 on the list. Number 2, I've mentioned it, I've referenced it, I've highlighted it. Let's do it again. Turnovers. Turnovers are kind of scary. Even if the Eagles are playing great, and even if they're executing well and they score a touchdown on their first drive, oh my goodness, how amazing would that be? The Eagles could be in control. Let's just say the second half. Let's say late in the third quarter. A turnover can change everything. Turnover, I've looked at it for the last handful of games. The only thing that I get concerned about with this Eagles team, because I believe they are that good, is turnovers. Can't fumble the football, can't throw an interception, can't have a tip ball, whatever the case might be that ends in the wrong hands. Pittsburgh Steelers lead the league in turnovers, and no Steeler has more of those turnovers than Dante Jackson. Dante Jackson has 5 interceptions. He has 8 passes defended on the year. He's a corner. It's somebody that Jalen Hurts has to be aware of at all times. I have a huge concern, not just for the interception game, but for what's next on my list as well, because it all starts. So turnovers in general, and Dante Jackson is a guy that I'm going to be looking at throughout this game. But number 1 on my list is probably number 1 on your list too, TJ Watt. If he's getting to the quarterback, fine. If he's pressuring the quarterback, fine. It might not be the most sexy thing throughout every single game. 9.5 sacks on the season, 5th highest total in the NFL, or 4th highest total in the NFL. He's just always somebody you have to be aware of. He's one of those. He's really good. It goes without saying. And Jordan Mailata was even talking about him this week about Lane Johnson and him both making sure they knew where TJ Watt was and being able to stop him, and how everything on that defense starts with him. When you talk about how it all starts and stops with him, you talk about the 4th highest sack total in the NFL. You also talk about the highest tackle for loss number in the NFL. Him and Max Crosby have 17 tackles for loss. That's pretty damn good. Oh, and how about forced fumbles? Remember the turnover thing I was talking about? Yeah. He's forced 5 fumbles this year. That's the most in the NFL. Nick Herbig, also of the Pittsburgh Steelers, has forced 4 fumbles. They got 2 guys on that defense that are just forcing fumbles left and right. By comparison, the Eagles have Zach Bond, who has also forced 4 fumbles on the season. So that's nice. But the Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 of those guys. They also have a guy in their secondary that I mentioned is number 2 on this list with 5 interceptions. This is not the game to overcorrect in any. This is not the game to overcorrect in any direction. Do what you do well, which is run the football. If Jalen Hurts has another 21 pass attempt game, so be it. If Jalen Hurts throws the football 35 times in this game, the Eagles are going to lose this game, because that means they're going to be playing from behind, and they probably ain't going to do much against this Steelers defense. Now, when you do talk about throwing the football, as I referenced it earlier, talking about a team that in the passing game is a middle of the road passing defense and what the Pittsburgh Steelers put out there. But in terms of taking that football away, yeah, you put that precious pigskin in peril, you're going to turn the tides of the game. So those are the things I'm looking at in this game. Just the Eagles not overcorrecting, not making mistakes, not forcing it due to what's been transpiring over the last week. I also look at just Russell Wilson's incredible numbers against Philadelphia Eagles. Also, in those games, I believe he has a quarterback rating, or a passer rating rather, of 100. It's right around 100, what he's put up against the Eagles in his career. Again, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. 14 times he's been sacked in those games. I'm looking at Saquon Barkley being up to the challenge the same way he was against the top-ranked run defense against the Ravens. Looking for him to have a similar type game here against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Turnover battle, Eagles, I would love to see them win that in this game. TJ Watt, just being aware wherever he is on the football field and protecting the ball. If you're Saquon, if you're Kenny Gainwell, and you're running up the middle of the field, or you're trying to bounce it to the outside, you always got to know that there is somebody looking to punch that ball out. Oh, honorable mention, Cam Hayward. So Dante Jackson has 8 passes defended as a corner. 8 passes defended. I got to double check this. I meant to look at this last night, but Cam Hayward has, I believe, 8 passes defended also this season. That's bonkers. And I think there was 2 balls last week that were tipped at the line of scrimmage from Jalen Hurts, or maybe it was the one for Jewel when he went up and Jalen pulled it down where he was targeting AJ, or at least had AJ in his sights. That's amazing. And you're talking about somebody like Cam Hayward, who is just, I mean, he's a dominant player. He can get up off the line of scrimmage extremely quick. He's got a great read where I know they'll feature this when he's on prime time. He's just one of those guys that when he sees the quarterback's arm go back, his arms go up. It's like a string. And it's funny. TJ Watt's brother, JJ Watt, was just known for doing this all the time. It was just the minute you see that arm go back, your hands go up. And that sounds like a very basic football thing, but that's exactly what Cam Hayward does. And it's pretty remarkable how well he has that timed. Do I have this? Pass to 8. Down Johnson, 8. Yeah. Cameron Hayward, 8 passes defended this season as a defensive lineman. So, Jalen, be aware of that. As I walked you through the All-22 last week, one of the things that did jump out to me was how many times guys were able to get their hands up in the air and make Jalen think twice about where that football was going. So that's what I'm going to be looking at in this game here. Distraction, Mr. Wilson, Saquon Barkley, turnovers, TJ Watt, hopefully not doing his thing against the Philadelphia Eagles. That's what I'm looking at in this football game. All in all, I look at the 11-2 Eagles. I look at the 10-3 Steelers. Going into this game, it's a 4.5-point favorite. The Eagles are 4.5-point favorites at home, so really a 1-point swing, if you will. I think the Eagles win this game 23-20. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game. I think it's going to be a close game. I don't think the Eagles cover, but I think the Eagles win. I think this game is going to be another opportunity for the Eagles to, in a similar way, be what it was against the Bengals, where they thought, oh, this is going to be a good test. The Eagles took care of business in that game. I think it's going to be the type of game where the Eagles assert themselves, similar to the way they did against the Commanders. I think it's going to be a similar game that they had against the Rams. I think it's going to be a similar game in terms of just the opportunity, where it's like, oh, this team could be getting hot, and then the Eagles extinguish that. People forget about the Packers game to start the season. That was still a big win. Bengals, Commanders, Rams, Ravens. Be the measuring stick game and let people know that there's some distance between you and the rest of the NFL. Let people know that it's still you, the Chiefs, the Lions, the Bills, that are the upper echelon elite teams of the NFL, and everybody else is fighting for that second tier. Let this be one of those games. So I think the Eagles are still going to win this game. I think it's going to be a 23-20 win. I think the run defense steps up against Najee Harris. I mentioned the weapons that Russell Wilson's going to have at his disposal without George Pickens playing in this game. But all in all, I see the Eagles just having, again, too much firepower for even the Steelers to beat. Keep away from that turnover battle. Win that turnover battle. Keep away from turnovers in general. And, yeah, I think the Eagles win this game, but it's going to be tight. 23-20 is what I have the Eagles coming away with for the victory. Hey, the Philadelphia 76ers have been off all week after their second win in a row, not to brag, over the Bulls, 108-100 on Sunday. And also their fourth win in 5 games. Just like that, they're climbing out of the basement. Just like that, the 76ers are eyeing the play-in tournament of the season. Eyeing the play-in tournament. They're in the hunt, I should say. But they got the Pacers tonight. 7 o'clock tip-off against the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are 10-15 on the season. Could the Sixers actually have Joel Embiid play in 2 consecutive games? Yeah, it would only take a Sunday and a Friday space between the games for him to play, but it looks like that could happen. So let's see it. Go out there and get yourselves a win tonight, fellas. Make it 3 in a row, a season-long winning streak. I'll have you on the postcast, by the way. Oh, Eagles are up to, 5.5. Last I checked, it was 4.5. Eagles are up to a 5.5-point favorite. I'm looking at the Sixers. Sorry. Let me go back. Eagles are 4.5-point favorites. Okay. I'm a big fat idiot. The Sixers tonight are favored at 5.5 points in South Philly. Also, hey, a public service announcement from your public address announcer from your Philadelphia Wings. The season faces off tomorrow night. The Philadelphia Wings are back at it Saturday night, 6 o'clock. My buddy Joe coming in from Pittsburgh with his Steeler fan friend. They're coming in for the game too, so they're going to be there. But yeah, come out to a Wings game. Go to wingslax.com. That's wingslax.com. And enjoy the public address stylings of yours truly, Mr. Mark Farzetta. Flyers did get that win last night. Their second win in a row, 4-1 over the Wings. They face off tomorrow afternoon at 2 o'clock at the Wild. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Hey, let me tell you about the great people at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. Download the MyBookie app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase. Excuse me. Get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. When you download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get up to $1,000 redeemable cash bonus at MyBookie, mybookie.ag. How about the Game Time app? Download the Game Time app to your phone, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Yeah, that's right. You want to go to a game? Want to go to a concert? Hey, you want to go to the Pacers-Sixers game tonight? Download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy on the Game Time app. Get $20 off your first purchase. You can also view your seat before you buy it, so you take the guesswork out of buying tickets. And you can take advantage of last-minute ticket deals, flash ticket deals. They even have ticket deals for an hour after the event starts. So let's say you're using the Game Time app to go to a concert or a comedy show. You might miss the opening act. You might miss the middle. But you'll see that headliner that you love so much at a great discounted rate on the Game Time app. Don't forget to use the Game Time Picks feature on the Game Time app, which allows you to filter out all the fluff so you get right down to it. The best seats at the best prices on the Game Time app. Also, Game Time all-in pricing feature, which allows you to see exactly what you're paying before you check out. It's that great. So there's no sticker shock. Oh, how did these $40 tickets become $50? What happened? Not when you toggle the all-in pricing feature on the Game Time app. So, download the app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase. How about PHL Sports Nation, Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Hey, Sky Motorcars, SkyMotorcars.com. Check out Brett's amazing inventory at SkyMotorcars.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this fine football Friday morning. Wine, Niners, wine. What's going on? I still love that that's your name. Farzy and Friends, early start equals tape. I still started like 20 minutes late. If I start at 6 o'clock, which is when the show is supposed to start, that's when you know it's taped. April, what's going on? Good morning. Sean Gillespie. Hello. E-Money Bentley. Go Birds. Go Birds. Jalen absolutely does not have to get the ball to AJ as much as the media is making it seem to win games. You're absolutely right. And I agree with you. And that's been my mentality. And you know how I know that? You know what's the mounting evidence? 9 wins in a row. I have maintained the argument that runs right parallel. Well, I shouldn't say it runs parallel, but doesn't keep up with Saquon Barkley, because who can? But I have maintained the same argument as Saquon Barkley. Like, if we need to throw the ball, we're going to throw the ball. Love it. Thank you, Northeast Sports. Sean Gillespie, I really hope the Eagles don't let AJ's pass gate, oh my God, pull affect the game plan. I concur. Jason A., good morning, everyone. Barkley MVP. Absolutely. Sean Gillespie, hello again. What is happening? I remember the very start of the T.O. Donovan rift happened in the Eagles-Steelers game. Yeah, that was 2004. Eagles were 7-0, if I'm not mistaken. They went into Pittsburgh, and that's when they had the shot of T.O. following Donovan on the sideline. That was amazing. And then the following game was a Monday Night Football game in Dallas, and they destroyed them. Ooh, now I don't have time to tell that story. It involves me being in college, throwing up over a balcony, which is a good time. It wasn't like a high balcony. It was on like a second floor. Anyway, it was the night before the Eagles lost to the Steelers, and I was in Providence, Rhode Island, visiting some friends in college. That was a good time. Anyway, but yeah, that was in Pittsburgh. But the real rift, I mean, that was their first rift. That was their first rift. I think that's fair to say. But thank you, Sean Gillespie. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? Buddy Christ! What's up, bud? Nice to see you. Hopefully I see you tonight after Sixers postcast. Sean Kilrain, what's going on? Sean Kilrain on the Joey Porter penalties this season: 6 defensive pass interference, 5 defensive holding, 2 illegal use of the hands. Fully expect nothing to be called on Sunday. That's great. That's great. Graham's a captain, should be on Barkley and AJ's captain. Oh, C should be on Barkley and AJ's captain. C should be on my Lotta. Let's make it happen. Clean sweep. I love it. I don't like that spread at all. It does seem like a sucker spread. Like, it seems like, well, the Eagles could cover that, right? Don't like it. I'm with you, Jason A. I think the drama from this week is insane. Players say it's the media. Media say it's the players' fault. It's too funny. What did we didn't do anything. Like, literally. A.J. Brown, passing. Then Brandon Graham's like, well, these guys don't stay up late and play video games anymore. I love BG, but dude, come on. BG saying what he said and not getting a lot of heat for it is because, like, Brandon's that guy that we know is a really nice guy, but you just caught him at a bad time. You're like, he doesn't mean that. And I think that's how the team took it as well. B. Haskins, stop panicking. Jeez. Well, I picked him to win, so I can't be panicking that much. Hey, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. My name is Mark Farzetta. This is the Farzy Show presented by MyBookie, mybookie.ag. I'll be with you guys tonight on the Locked On 76ers postcast. So make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Locked On Sports Philadelphia YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Farzy Show YouTube channel. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Jacob Media YouTube channel. And make sure you guys like and subscribe to the Seth Joyner Show YouTube channel as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Again, I appreciate all the support with the passing of my uncle. And I will be with you guys tonight, and I'll be with you guys Monday morning. See you guys then. Have a wonderful weekend if I don't see you. Bye-bye.